Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Get Fit with Me, expanding your physical and mental fitness group. This group is for individuals who are ready to expand both their physical and mental fitness while helping and supporting others with similar goals all along the way. I am super excited, per usual. You guys, I think, hear me say that every single week, that we are officially on our last week of 2022, and I don't have any idea where the year went. I just don't know. So as we are into our final week of 2022, we're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions, which kind of falls underneath that mindset pillar that we talk about. So we have our physical fitness, our mental fitness, which is some mindset, and then we talk about nutrition in this group. And today we're talking about New Year's resolutions, and we're going to keep it really simple and concise because there is a few reasons why New Year's resolutions, people hate them, people don't do them, or people do them and they fail right away. And I'm going to go over some of those reasons, but we do have Jean on today. Jean, I know you just muted and turned your screen off. If you unmute, I will know you're here to participate. And if not, I'll just know you are here to listen, and that is good too. If you are able to participate, I'd love to know who you are and what brought you on today's call of our last week of live calls in 2022. I can't believe it.
All right, I'll participate. I'm just getting ready to make my lunch, but I wanted to at least sit in just to see what you had to say, because I know I've told you in the past that I don't like New Year's resolutions because I just feel like it's a setup for failure. And so I don't necessarily start things on New Year's. I just start it and try to keep with it.
I love it. And you are not the only one. And go ahead, make your lunch. I'll try to keep the participation low here in the middle while you're preparing. But you're not the only one when it comes to resolutions and not liking them. Or they're like, I'm just not going to do them until after January because that's when the hype is. Honestly, after this next year, I think I'm going to get rid of New Year's resolutions as a word. I don't like the phrase because you're right. So many of us, we create something, it doesn't happen, and it's just another letdown. Whereas if we can just recommit to something at the start of the year, it's not necessarily a resolution. We're just creating a recommitment. And January 1 is just a really nice clean slate or clean calendar to look at. That is where my mind goes. But it's also, we don't want to wait. So let's say we fall off the wagon in January 15th. We're not going to wait till January 2024 to get back on the wagon. We're going to start sooner than that. We're going to start the next day. So I do think after having some conversations with Eugene and a few other people, New Year's resolutions after this year, I'm not going to use. We're just going to use a recommitment. So I want you guys to think of today like that. And in our paid program, so in the Commit to Your Health program, we talk about New Year's resolutions. Last week, we actually went through the entire process and how to implement this. Today, we're really going to focus on our really first two steps. And these two steps are super, super important. And they're usually what determines if somebody is going to achieve that goal or if they are going to fail. Hi, Denise. I see you on Facebook. You said I usually have meetings at this time, but I'm free today to watch. Awesome. Super excited to have you here. Keep chiming along in the comments. Let me know what made you jump on the call today, if there was something other than you were just available. So failure to plan is us planning to fail. And often when we create these New Year's resolutions, we create something that is super unrealistic. So I like to have everyone think about, where would you be a year from now today? What is something you'd like to accomplish? Whether it's running a 5K, losing a certain amount of weight, being able to get up and down off the ground without help X amount of times, be able to walk a 7-minute mile. Another reason that people don't Okay, so that's always fun. It's Friday for me, so my laptop is participating like a Friday. So another reason why people don't accomplish their goals is we go from the time between Thanksgiving and the New Year where we are overeating, we are not moving as much, we are super stressed, we're most likely not getting good sleep, to January 1, I'm gonna hit the gym 5 days a week. I'm gonna cut out all sugars. I'm gonna only eat fruits and vegetables. We go from a 0 to 100 approach. And it is found that if you go 0 to 100, it is not sustainable. It's just like any other diet. There's a reason it's a 21-day fix or the whole 30. There is a deadline to that because it's not realistic to long-term sustainability. So the two reasons that people usually do not reach their New Year's resolutions or their goals, whatever we want to call them, is that goal is way too unrealistic, such as I'm going to lose 100 pounds this year. Okay, let's dial that back. It's possible if we implement certain things, but is it realistic? And the other is we go 0 to 100. We don't really acknowledge where we currently are before we move into that next step. Steps. Awesome, Denise. That's a really good goal too. So maybe your goal currently is 5,000 steps a day and you want to get up to 7,000 by the end of the year consistently. Figuring out where we start and where we want to go. So first thing I have everybody do, and this is the biggest thing, is I want us to think about what is a goal that you want, what is a goal that you want to achieve by this time next year. So December 29th, 2023, what goal would you like to achieve? Grab a piece of paper, write it down, type it in the comments for me. I'm going to name off some just to kind of give you some ideas, but we need to figure out what that goal is. Is it you want to run a 5K? You want to lose 10 pounds. Maybe you want to gain 10 pounds. Maybe you want to lose a few inches. Maybe you want to be able to do a plank for 1 minute. Maybe you want to be able to walk a mile without feeling completely out of breath. Maybe you want to declutter your whole house this year. Maybe you want to read 6 fun books. Maybe you don't give yourself time for fun and you want to be able to read 6 fun books this year. Maybe you want to learn a new skill. Find a new hobby. I want to know what's coming to mind for you. And yes, this is a health and wellness group, but all the other areas in our life affect our health and wellness. So maybe this goal isn't something health and wellness. Maybe it is really organizing and decluttering your house because you know that's going to push you forward and it's going to get rid of those distractions so that you can then move into your health and wellness more effectively. So drop in the comments, let me know some goals that you have. And I do know, Denise, you put steps. So I'd like to know, is there a number associated with that? Because also we can have this really unrealistic goal, but we also need our goal to be really specific. So as you heard me say, run a 5K. A 5K has a distance behind it. Lose X amount of weight. Gain X amount of weight. Think about, can we add a number to it? Because we are going to then track this. And Jean, if you are able to either drop in the comments and I'll read it for you, or you can unmute and share, what is a goal that came to mind for you? Denise says 1 million steps in 2023 and shed 17 pounds. Did 780,000 steps this year. Wow, that's awesome. That is awesome. I love that, Denise. Perfect.
I would say mine is to lose 13 pounds, which I think I told you this in a different session. And it seems like a weird number, but it puts me at a weight number that I think is good for me. Not that more wouldn't be better, but it gives me a start. And I just try not to be unrealistic with that.
I love it. And it's that number, because we have to have a number. If we're just vague and say we want to lose weight, that number can move around based on our mood throughout the year. So by having that number, it gives us a point at which we want to get to, which is awesome. And that's why numbers and tracking is super important. So Denise, you have your 1 million steps in 2023. So now we want to look at what is that? What is one step that's going to help us get to the weight loss of 13 pounds or 17 pounds? or that one step that's going to get us to hitting that 1,000,000 steps in 2023. And like I said, the 0 to 100 approach does not work. It does not work. I have tried and failed, tried and failed multiple times. And I think I've met one person in their life that has like 0 to 100 is the only way I work. It's the only way I've been able to be successful. So with that being the case, I want to know, what is one action that you can start that's going to get you to that weight loss? So for instance, it could be eating vegetables, doing more walking, getting some strength training in, making sure we're tracking our food to be aware what we're actually consuming. When it comes to steps, it could be, I want to make sure I take a 10-minute walk every single day. Like what is one step that you can implement, just one, that is going to slowly get you to that year-end goal?
Okay, mine is to replace my chips, my like potato chips, nacho chips, that stuff. Not to say I can't have them, but to do a bulk of replacement with dehydrated apples. And that I think is a super small thing. But if I can stay on top of that, because I kind of started doing that probably about a month and a half ago, and maybe more month. But anyways, I think that is that's a baby step, but I'm interested to see the difference it'll make.
I love it. And you're right. You're not getting rid of the chips, because when we deprive ourselves from something, we're going to want it more. Just like when we were growing up, Mom, I know you're probably going to rewatch this. When your parents tell you can't do something, you're more likely going to go do it. Whereas if they didn't even bring it up, you're probably not going to worry about it. It's what our mind does, no matter who we are. So Jean, I love that you're not depriving yourself of it, but you're trying to find a replacement for it that you also enjoy, that's a little bit healthier of an option, so that you're not getting any of those trans fats or any of those things that come in chips that in the long term are not great for us. So it's perfect. And I think that's a really good first step, because a lot of times, like I mentioned, we change our entire diet. You're not changing your entire diet, you're changing one aspect of it. That one aspect over time, once you get those chips dialed in, those apple chips dialed in, what's going to happen, I'm going to call them apple chips. I hope that's okay. I know you said dehydrated, but I think apple chips are more fun to say. Once you get that dialed in, you can then add that next thing. So then maybe it's making sure, I know in the past you've done like protein waffles in advance. Maybe it's then you're going to look at making sure that breakfast is always high protein. So we look at these goals, we look at our long-term goal, and we really need to break it down into what is one simple, small action that you can start doing now. Because if you start to implement it all, it's not going to go anywhere, and you're going to get to about January 30th, maybe February 14th. I can almost guarantee by the end of March that you're back to the way you were eating before, the way you were moving before, because you took on too much at once. So Jean, I think that's fantastic. Denise, do you have anything in the comments if you are still with us? Some other things, as just so you guys get an idea, is daily walks. So for instance, one of my big goals is to increase my overall strength, and that to me means a different workout program than what I've been doing this past year. But that also means I really need to focus on my recovery. And my recovery for me looks like daily walks and stretching. And it's not anything overcomplicated, but I have to figure out how to put a daily walk into every single one of my days. For instance, I bought a under my desk treadmill so that I have no excuse. If the weather is cold, if it's raining, if it's snowing, whatever it is. And that is one step that I've taken now to help with my recovery in 2023 as I gain overall strength, as I change my lifting program. Denise says, I have to be more consistent with my daily steps. Last year, my tracking was not consistent along with my walking. When I'm consistent, that will help with my weight loss. Awesome. Out of curiosity, how do you track your steps? Are you using like a watch or a step counter of some sort, or are you using on your phone? And then do you know on average how many steps you were getting per day? That's my other question. So, like I said, we can dive deep into this, and I'm going to give you a little bit more of an overview. We're not going to dive deep into the next couple steps. I'm just going to kind of throw them out at you. If you want to dive into these next couple steps with me and kind of work through what the strategy and the outline looks like for you in 2023, just drop me in the comments. We'll schedule a quick little 15-20 minute call, and I'll get that strategy worked out for you. So you figure out your goal. Try to put a number behind it so we know where we're going. Be specific with it. If we're not able to be specific, how do we know if we've actually reached it? After that, we have to choose that one simple thing that we are going to start implementing. One simple thing. Once we've implemented that one simple thing, it takes used to take 21 days-ish to create a habit. No longer takes that. It takes 60 to 90 days now to create a habit. So that's like 2 to 3 months. If you are consistently, so for instance, Jean, if you are consistently eating those apple chips and you're feeling good, and you've been doing that for about a month, and you're like, I got my system down on when I get to make them, how to store them, where to put them, and I'm consuming them and they're not being wasted, and I'm not reaching for the other potato chips, then you can add another thing on. So maybe that's, okay, I've swapped out. I'm now going to add, focusing on my high protein breakfast. And listen, I said add on. It does not mean we stop with that first thing that we were consistent with. No, we add on to it. So for instance, for you, Denise, in January, let's say your daily step goal is 5,000 steps. If you can hit that 5,000 steps every single day for 60 to 90 days, or that first month if you're feeling really confident, bump that up by just 1,000. So then make that next month 6,000 steps a day. And then the next one, 7,000 steps a day. And that will eventually grow and build on each other. Same thing goes for water. I have a lot of people who focus on a water goal. Well, I need to drink 128 ounces. Okay, how many are you drinking? 10. We're not going to go all the way to 128. We're going to get consistent with 20 ounces of water a day. And then we'll go to 30. And we'll slowly build consistency through that. Which if we can build our water, if we can build our movement, and we can build our diet, that right there is going to help with, in the long run, with that weight loss. And the biggest thing is consistency. Any of us can do these things, but if not all of us can do it consistently. And that's where accountability comes in. Denise said, I have a step counter on my phone, Samsung Health. I transfer number on my Excel spreadsheet. Awesome. As long as you have something that's tracking it and you've got a way, it sounds like you've got a really good system set up. My next thing would be look at what your average steps were per day last year and make that a consistent every single day for the month of January, just kind of how I mentioned, and then slowly build on it into February. So we've created our goal. We've created that one small thing. We've been consistent with that one small thing, and we started to add on that next thing. The final thing that I like to share about goal setting is we have to do some sort of reflection. And often what happens is we get off the wagon and we're like, oh, we'll just wait till Monday. We'll just wait till then. We'll just wait till here. And all of a sudden, time has gone by, days, weeks, months, and it's the end of the year. Whereas if at the end of each month, you put aside 15 minutes to do a reflection. So look back at your spreadsheet, Denise. Jean, you can look back at your calendar, or however you're going to kind of track the days that you had apple chips versus real chips. Just kind of see how that, we have to come up with a tracking system for that. But figuring out, do a reflection. How successful did you feel? Out of 100%, did you feel like you were a 95% success rate? Or do you feel like you were a 10? Why was it? What worked? What worked this past month that you're going to continue doing? What did not work this past month that you need to ditch? Often we keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. There is a double-edged sword to that. Sleep, water, nutrition, and exercise all contribute to weight loss. It does. It's what science says. It's what happens. If we get all of those into alignment, there will be weight loss that happens. But if we are inconsistent with it and we're doing the wrong things over and over, then we're not going to get anywhere. So we want to make sure that we're ditching the things that aren't working, making sure we give it adequate amount of time to see if it works. That's why that 30 to 60 days is a really nice time to look back and say, okay, in the last 30 days, I was using this water bottle. This water bottle, I have not drank any water out of. Okay, ditch that water bottle. If in 30 days that water bottle didn't help you reach your water goal, let's find a different water bottle, or let's find a different system to get you to drink that water. So I know I just kind of word vomited a lot. I'm gonna read Denise's comments here, and then I wanna kind of get questions and any clarity that you guys need around what I've just talked about. So Denise says, 2,470 steps a day would get me there. The key is consistency. 2,740 got the numbers backwards. It's okay, I'm the same way. I felt successful for the overall year, lots of distractions. I will do the monthly reflection, great tip. Awesome. And because Denise, you already got your spreadsheet, after each month, just put a line and just do a little reflection. And I like that you saw the number of steps you need per day to get you to that million. So that's another way you can look at it, is if we have that goal of 10 pounds, how many pounds do we need to lose per month is another way to kind of look through that. We can reverse engineer. I don't always like doing that because weight fluctuates. For instance, I went to bed last night and I was 5 pounds heavier than when I woke up this morning. And then after I ate breakfast, I was 3 pounds heavier. So weight goes up and down. And it's one of those where if you are consistently tracking your weight at the same time, same day, you are going to see little fluctuations. I have a 5 pound buffer, 5 pounds up and down of where my buffer is. It's usually normal to have that buffer. But if you're tracking, you can see what that buffer is rather than just making it up. So I want to know any questions or clarity that you guys need around the things that I talked about here. Or if you want to dive into yours a little bit more specifically right now, we can totally talk about that too. Okay, so with that being the case, I want to remind you, don't think of it as a New Year's resolution. Think of it as, who do you want to be a year from now? How do you want to look? How much weight do you want to lose? How do you want to feel? What goal do you have for yourself a year from now today? And maybe you're watching this training 6 months from December 29th, 2022. Same thing applies. Don't wait till the new year. Pick the day you're going to start and just say, a year from today, I want to be this place. I want to achieve this. So take away the New Year's resolution. I use that because it's really catchy to get your guys' attention because we are at the end of the year and New Year's is on Saturday. But we can implement this in any single portion throughout our year. It's not just tied down to New Year's resolutions. So come up with that realistic goal, that goal you want to achieve a year from now today, a year from now. That's going to give me a tongue twister. And then what is that one step that you can do consistently that's going to move you closer to that goal? Is it focusing on your diet? Is it focusing on exercise? Is it focusing on stress management? Organization? What is one thing that you can do for yourself? Give it 30, 60, 90 days of being consistent. But at the end of each month, make sure you go back and you do a reflection. Continue doing what works and ditch what doesn't. So I want to know any questions that we have, final questions here before we jump on off. Like I said, we're going to keep it nice, short, sweet, and to the point today. My goal for you guys in 2023 is, I know I say it quite a bit, but I'm going to start saying it more. We need to keep it simple. We overanalyze, we overcomplicate things all the time. We do. So it happens in our world. So we need to keep it simple and small. And if you want help going through this process with your goal specifically and setting up what that next best step actually is, just drop me in the comments. We'll jump on a quick 15, 20-minute call. I'll help you out. We'll get you set up so that you can move forward in 2023 with success. He says, great info. Thanks. It's a lifestyle enhancement. Yes, it is. It's not a short game. It's not a 100-yard sprint. It's a marathon. And if we want to keep moving forward and have a long-term, healthy, sustainable, maintainable lifestyle, it focuses on little steps that build on each other. Because let's be honest, like I said, if we start cutting out things that we really enjoy, if we start cutting out alcohol because you really enjoy a glass of wine, but you're going to cut that out because that you think that's the only way, it's not. Same thing goes for sweets. Same things goes for carbs. There is a way to keep it simple, to have that control, and to look at your food and to look at your exercise in a way that's simple and is easy and able to be consistent. So happy new year. Happy successful new year to you, Denise. It's great having you on. Jean, thank you for being on today. I hope you had a great lunch, that we were able to help keep you entertained during your lunch today. Have a fantastic new year. As a reminder, next week, I'm going to be in a little bit warmer of a place, so we will not have a live call, but I've talked to a lot of you about stretching and aches and pains lately, that next Thursday I will be posting a quick 10-minute stretch series video. Feel free subscribe to the YouTube channel, watch some of those other stretch videos, but you'll have access to that. It will go out next Thursday at noon, same time I would normally go live. And then we will be back the following week going live, and you're going to start to see some real changes in this group on some looks and some of our messaging. So be on the lookout for that. And as always, if you have anyone else you think would benefit from this group, invite them in. This community grows when you guys share. So that is a huge thank you to me anytime people invite others into this group. So have a happy new year. Finish out 2022 strong and start 2023 with a goal in mind. Who do you want to be at the end of 2023? What do you want to achieve? And what is that one small step that you can implement today or tomorrow to start moving towards that goal and that person you want to be? Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you next time.